Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Danny Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Before I get started, I want to thank all the viewers who have watched my thoughts on Big E's championship win, as well as Extreme Rules review from the past 2012. All of you who are new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And before I get started, that match between Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson was awesome. It sucks that the time limit ruined it, but hey, hopefully we'll get a rematch. That being said, I have to give you a warning. This video contains subject matter that may not be suitable for all ages. So, anyone under the age of 16, viewer discretion is strongly advised because this one here has a bit of some subjects. I would try to be as appropriate as I can, as always, but this one got a little subject to it, so I needed to warn you on that. So, let's talk about the plane ride from hell on Dark Side of the Ring. It all started when the WWE superstars went overseas to Europe. Their first stop was Germany. They went through Europe and landed in Italy for their special May event known as Insurrection. It featured NWO's Big Show, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair, and a great main event match between The Undertaker and a special appearance from SmackDown Zone at the time, Triple H, a match that Triple H won. We also saw an upcoming Brock Lesnar and the Hardys. A lot of people were there. RVD, Eddie Guerrero, etc. Now, going towards Europe, and in Europe, it was a great time. Everybody had a great time, including Haiti Dose, flight attendant. She was a newly mother, and she had a great time even though she was away from her child, her infant child. She had fun at first, but after this story, she wishes she was at home. But either way, the event was great until they got back on the plane and the flight was delayed. And what do you do when a flight is delayed and you're stir crazy and bored? You get drunk and you get intoxicated. And it's not a good idea, but it happens. So, that being said, a lot of people got drunk and intoxicated. And when you get intoxicated, you do crazy things. And when the plane took off, it flew to the heavens, but all hell was about to break loose. As it all started with Mr. Perfect and up and coming Brock Lesnar. Mr. Perfect was the master of pranks, and he took a bottle of barbershop hair cream and sprayed it on Brock Lesnar's head, slapped him while Brock Lesnar was sleeping. Brock Lesnar got up and chased Mr. Perfect all throughout the plane, and they began playfully tussling. And Brock Lesnar basically took Mr. Perfect to Suplex City. Or should I say Suplex Airlines? Suplex Airlines. And so he took him there. They playfully tussled. It wasn't a real fight. They were just playing around. But things got dangerous when they hit the emergency button, and everyone jumped up to try and calm them down because they all thought the door was going to open and everyone was going to die. Thankfully, that did not happen. But they are thousands of feet in the air in the middle of the ocean. Scary. Then Brock Lesnar, that wasn't the only time we heard about Brock Lesnar, as allegedly Brock Lesnar had a moment during behind the scenes in Europe where he flashed Terry Runnels. Obviously, Brock Lesnar likes blondes because he married Sable. And Terry's a blonde also, but here's the thing, man. That what this is allegedly. They reached out to Brock, but that wasn't cool. If he did that, not cool, beast. Keep your beast in your pants. Keep the beast in your pants, dude. So the Goldust told Terry, ex-husband of Terry, don't sell it. Okay. Goldust got into some trouble of his own. He was caught, he got so intoxicated, he was drunk singing, and of course, he must have been going through some hard times because you can see the pain coming out. He was singing drunk like Troy from Fences, and of course, Terry wanted to go and calm him down, but Paul E., aka Paul Heyman, said, "Don't sell it." So she sat down, and it wasn't until Jim Ross, who was apparently the playing chaperone at the time, came up and told Goldust, "Sit your butt down, go to sleep, give us all a break." So that was the end of Goldust's situation. Then you have, and I'm gonna tell you something. You could not fall asleep on a plane ride, even though it was a long plane ride. You couldn't fall asleep because you were subject to come up with something missing. You subject to come up with an eyebrow missing and stuff like that. This prank's gone too far. And Michael Hayes slapped JBL, who at the time was known as Bradshaw. And Bradshaw was cut open in a match with X-Pac during Insurrection. But that wound was opened again when Michael Hayes slapped the fire out of Bradshaw. And Bradshaw, who was napping, got up and knocked Hayes the out. And with Michael Hayes being unconscious, X-Pac, who was having his name chanted during the plane ride, came in and cut Michael Hayes' ponytail off. And so when Michael Hayes woke up after the wild plane ride, he was hot as fire, and they gave it to Jim Ross. Jim Ross threw it away. So that's that. Here's where things get really crazy. Allegedly, and I say allegedly, Ric Flair, who apparently was intoxicated with a lot of alcohol, thankfully nobody drunk was the pilot. Ric Flair, intoxicated, started playing around with the guys on the plane. And he took off his robe, he was naked, and he started swinging his flare like a helicopter. Then he found himself in another room with flight attendant Haiti Doza, and he harassed her allegedly and took her hand. And of course, let's just say if he's a kiss stealing jet flyer, then this time he's a touch stealer, allegedly now, because we don't know if he did it. We don't know. But allegedly, he took his hand and forced her to touch Ric Flair. Not appropriate. Goldust, who had been drunk, came in and pulled Ric Flair away. And that was not the only case of harassment that happened, as Scott Hall, who has issues with drugs, well documented, harassed either Haiti or another female flight attendant. And thankfully, to my credit, RVD and Just Incredible behaved themselves. The Undertaker, Stone Cold, and The Big Show were apparently on the flight. I would love to hear their point of view. Undertaker's one of my all-time favorites. Triple H, if he was there, I would love to get his point of view of the whole thing. But for now, we just got to stick with RVD and everyone else's point of view. So after Scott Hall allegedly was harassing one of the flight attendants, he was so strung out that Just Incredible had to carry him out on a wheelchair after this happened. So if you notice, right after that time, in the summer of 2002, after Scott Hall disappeared, he wasn't disappeared, he was fired. And now we have Kevin Nash brings back Shawn Michaels, and of course, now it's Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, Big Show, and X-Pac. As Big Show's time, as Booker T was set to be on the team, but he didn't last long because Shawn Michaels kicked him in the face, and we all know what happened to Hall. Hogan was on SmackDown. So that happened. After the plane ride, the plane was a mess, and Haiti did not want to stay to clean anything up because she was so traumatized that after what happened with Scott Hall, she stayed in another room and did not come out till it was over. There were drugs, there was the H medicine, H pills on there, the type of pills that you give somebody to help them sleep. And there were moments where it was said that women were given those pills so that the men could take advantage. And it is alleged that Shawn Michaels did this many years ago along with Marty Jannetty. Now, I'm not saying it's alleged, so we don't know if he did it. But if he did, then I'm sure Shawn Michaels is sorry. He has repented and become a devoted Christian. But it does not take away from the fact that your sins will always come back to haunt you, even if it takes 20 years for Judgment Day to come. So, speaking of things coming back to haunt you, Scott Hall was fired. Mr. Perfect was let go. Unfortunately, less than a year later, Mr. Perfect passed away due to drug overdose. The same year that Miss Elizabeth passed away, I believe that was from overdose. So we lost a couple of people to drugs, man, and that was very unfortunate and heartbreaking. But moving forward, there were repercussions for Hall and Mr. Perfect and a couple of others. And Jim Ross, who was the chaperone, and Mr. McMahon was on the plane, by the way, he told everybody who had to be fired they were fired. But Ric Flair was the only one that got away with it because he's a made man. And Jim Ross said it is alleged, but it's possible that it happened. Just like it's possible that Brock Lesnar showed the F5 to Terry Reynolds. We can't say they didn't do it. It's alleged, so we don't know for sure. And yes, I'm not putting it past anybody to try and attack Ric Flair because they want to get to the top. Now, if you are attacking a 72-year-old man for greed, then I will look at you funny. I will do that. If you're trying to attack a 72-year-old for something that you lied about, then you're wrong. But if Ric Flair is guilty, then Ric Flair is wrong. One thing Jim Ross said that is absolutely correct. We have to stop allowing people in our society to get away with stuff. But because Ric Flair allegedly is a made man, no repercussions were given to him. So there's that. And I will say this. I don't care who you are. If you did something wrong, you're wrong. I don't care. Listen, I hope The Undertaker did not bully Rene Dupree and do all those offensive things with that flag. But if he did, then I'm going to say my all-time favorite idol was wrong. If you did something and you're one of my all-time favorites, I'm going to say in my mind, my all-time favorite messed up. But I'm not saying that people won't lie on you for greed, because that too is possible. But with Hollywood, I think Weinstein did it. I think that R&B singer who was accused of stuff I can't say, I believe he did it. But with Ric Flair, I don't know. I really don't know. None of us know for sure. Only the man upstairs knows. But and we don't know if Shawn Michaels was guilty or if The Undertaker really did it. If so, that was a long time ago, and hopefully they're better people now. I strongly believe Shawn Michaels is a better person now. Undertaker, I strongly believe if he did do it, I'm sure he's apologetic for it, even though he hasn't responded. We don't know. We really don't. But if they did do it, no matter who they are, you can't say, oh, I'm just going to stand by you just because you my favorite. Because favorite or not, wrong is wrong and you have to be held accountable. So, this is the part that upset me. When it was said that allegedly Ric Flair did what he did, Tommy Dreamer made me mad. And I like Tommy. Watching Tommy wrestle, he has awesome entrance themes. I love playing as him on SmackDown versus Raw 2008 and all. But he really upset me when he said the things he said. He first of all said, well, what Ric Flair did, he was just having fun and it was a joke, and apparently some people are offended by that joke. Of course, because number one, allegedly, y'all was intoxicated. So a lot of times you think stuff is okay that's not okay because you intoxicated. If he did it. That's number one. Number two, this is the part that really upset me. Not upset me, but I'm like, are you serious? He said, Tommy Dreamer, I'm speaking of, apparently Haiti Doza went to court to file a lawsuit against the wrestlers who harassed her. And so they did what most people do when they get in trouble. Here's $1,000, here's a bunch of money, shut up. And I don't agree with that. If somebody is wrong, they got to be held accountable. All this don't sell it, it's not right. If you wrong, sell it, do your time, come back, and don't do that mess again. Sammy Guerrero got in trouble for what he said about Sasha and how I can't repeat what he said, but apparently he has a crush on Sasha and his crush went way too far and he said some stuff that shouldn't have been said and he got suspended. He did his time, he came back, and I love seeing him in the inner circle. I have to learn all the words to Judas in my mind. So when Chris Jericho and the inner circle come down to the ring, I can sing it with the AEW fans perfectly without missing a beat. But back to serious business. We don't know what happened, but she wanted to be accountability. You can't just throw money at someone's face if they were done wrong. You can't just throw money and say here's a bunch of money, here's thousands of dollars, shut up. You can't do that. There has to be accountability if he's wrong. But it wouldn't happen, and it disappointed her. It really disappointed her. It hurt her. And Tommy Dreamer came in and said, "Well, if she was so offended, if that's how she felt, she shouldn't have took it to court." Are you serious? You were not there when that happened. Jim Ross said he wasn't in the room when that incident happened, but he said, of course, it's possible that it happened, and we can't put it past them. If they wrong, they wrong, and you got to be careful what you say, because you can't just go around saying stuff like that, man. You can't. You just can't be made. And as a newbie YouTuber, I have to be careful the things that I say. I can't say if I saw someone and I liked them, I would probably, if I saw a woman and I liked her, I'd probably keep that to myself. Because if you say the wrong thing, that's a wrap. You suspended, you blocked. There are certain things we have to be educated on how to be respectful. People say, oh, you're just too sensitive. That's called respect. And that's something we have to learn. We have to give respect, and we have to be respectful and considerate of what people go through, because we were not there. We don't know if Ric Flair did it. I know, like I said, if you are trying to sue a 72-year-old man and he's not guilty, shame on you. But if Rick is wrong, Rick was wrong, and he has to be held accountable. Ric Flair has a daughter, and I would not try Charlotte Flair. Well, I'm going to tell you that right now. I wouldn't try her unless you want to get both your legs broke in a figure eight. I wouldn't try her. I wouldn't try none of them women. And I sure wouldn't trust Shayna Baszler because she back to her sadistic self. She broke Nia's arm Monday. I wouldn't try them. But bottom line is this: we don't know for sure, but we have to be careful what we say. And if it is true, we cannot just sweep it under the rug just because Ric Flair is our God. I, I can say Stone Cold, Undertaker, Cena, those are my idols. Not like that, but they're my idols. But if they are wrong, then I have to say within myself, my idol, the person that I say is like a god to me, second to him, I have to say that that person is wrong. I can't say, oh, he didn't do it just because I like him. If he was wrong, he was wrong. And if she's lying, the truth will be revealed. But you can't just automatically defend it because they're your favorites. But what do you think about the plane ride? Let me know in the comment sections what you think. I got to stop right there. That's all the time I have for today. I'll be back Friday for SmackDown review. See you later.